Welcome back. All right, today we're tackling a real head scratcher. Why is it that some of the absolute smartest people on the planet do some of the dumbest things imaginable, like catastrophically dumb? So let's start with a modern day genius. You're looking at Vitalik Buterin. This guy, at just 19, created Ethereum. Only the second biggest crypto network in the entire world. A total visionary, right? He basically helped write the future of blockchain. And hey, he's not the only one. You've got guys like Elon Musk. Both are just celebrated for their massive intellect, changing the world, but they're also kind of known for being, well, let's just say a little socially awkward. And it's a pattern you see again and again. Look, this isn't just some random coincidence. It's actually a clue, a hint at a secret code that's hardwired into all of our brains. And here's the thing. Sometimes this quirk goes from being just awkward to being downright dangerous. It turns out intelligence isn't always a gift. It can be a real double-edged sword. Look at Steve Jobs. The guy's artistic genius and his total mastery of social dynamics gave us these amazing Apple devices we all use. But when he got cancer, he completely ignored his doctors. He chose to try and treat it with things like fruit diets and acupuncture. It was a massive, massive blind spot that honestly led to a tragic end that was probably preventable. Or how about this guy, Jack Parsons, one of the brilliant minds who literally founded NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab. His work was key to putting us on the moon. But get this, by night, he was deep into occultism, doing magic rituals. He ended up dying in this really mysterious lab explosion, and to this day, nobody knows if it was a science experiment that blew up in his face or a magic ritual gone horribly wrong. So you see the pattern? These incredibly brilliant people all shared a fatal flaw. And honestly, it's a flaw that you or I might have too. See, nature gave them each a unique superpower, but it came with a cost, a unique blind spot. All right, so we're diving deep into our evolutionary history, back to a time when just surviving to the next day was the only game in town. Think about it. For millions of years, the #1 driving force for humanity was fear. It was this constant pressure cooker, and it forced the human brain to evolve, to specialize in 4 totally different directions, all for one reason: survival. Fear made our ancestors smart, or it made them lunge. So first up, you get the technical brain. These were the folks who were obsessed with patterns. They were the original system thinkers. They'd see a sharp rock and think tool or weapon. They'd see certain tracks and know danger. These were our first scientists and engineers, for sure. Then you have the social brain. These were the people. They mastered reading faces, figuring out what someone was really thinking, and building alliances. They were the ones who could bring the tribe together, maybe even lead it. You can see them today in our best leaders, our politicians, even our actors. And at the same time, you had the explorer brain. These were the restless ones, the risk takers. They were always wondering what's over that hill. They were driven by that thrill of discovery. Yeah, their path wasn't always straight, but their curiosity is what led the whole tribe to new food, new water, new everything. And, rounding it out, you've got the stabilizer brain. Think of them as the tribe's guardian. They were all about duty, discipline, and making sure things got done right. Keeping the fire going, making sure the rules were followed. They were literally the glue that held the whole society together. Okay, so here is the absolute key to this whole thing. Nature didn't just give us a little bit of everything in one nice, neat package. No way. It forced us to choose. It's something called the great cognitive trade-off. Basically, nature loves a specialist, not a jack of all trades. And this is the secret code we've been talking about, the cognitive trade-off. It means that to get really, really good at one thing, our brains had to kind of sacrifice being good as something else. And that right there is where our personal blind spots come from. So this trade-off basically created 2 big spectrums. The first one puts the technical brain, what you could call the systemizing brain, up against the social or mentalizing brain. Think of it like this. The better you are at understanding systems, logic, and patterns, the tougher it might be for you to naturally read people's emotions and intentions. And yeah, it works the other way around too. The second spectrum is all about the explorer versus the stabilizer. The explorer brain is just flooded with dopamine. It's all about novelty, risk, and change. The stabilizer brain, on the other hand, is driven by serotonin. It wants stability, routine, and safety. You could say one type changes the world and the other one makes sure the world actually runs. This whole trade-off idea, Well, that's really what we're talking about when we say neurodivergence. And that quote from Einstein just nails it, right? It's not about being broken or defective. It's about having a specialized design. Things like ADHD, autism, dyslexia, they aren't flaws. They're highly specialized brain wirings. But, and this is a huge but, if you put that specialized tool in the wrong environment, it can become a huge liability. Okay, so how does all this apply to you? Let's make this personal. It's time to figure out your own mental blueprint. Now, it's really important to get this. These 4 types aren't rigid boxes you fit into. Think of them more like directions or dimensions on a map. Most of us are a mix, but we almost always have a dominant direction we lean into. And knowing which way you lean, well, that's the key to unlocking your true potential and, more importantly, finally understanding your own blind spots. So, you see, those technical geniuses like Vitalik Buterin or Isaac Newton, they often struggle a bit on the social side. And on the flip side, charismatic leaders, the strong mentalizers, can sometimes get by on pure confidence instead of cold hard facts. It's pretty likely that Steve Jobs' huge strengths as this social explorer type are exactly what blinded him to the life or death logic that a more technical mind would have seen instantly. So you're probably wondering, how do I figure out my own wiring? Well, the approach is actually pretty simple. You can start with a basic screening quiz just to get a feel for your natural thinking style. And then, if it looks like you lean really heavily in one direction, you can take a more specific scientific test to really nail down your alignment. But hold on. Before you go trying to find your type, I have one last and really critical warning for you. Your intelligence, the very thing we think is so important, it's not what you think it is. See, your intelligence is just a magnifier. That's all it is. It's a tool that makes things bigger. It amplifies the good, the bad, all of it. But it doesn't get to choose what it amplifies. It's just a servant to something way more powerful that's pulling the strings in the background. And that is the ultimate blind spot. Think of it like a hidden control button. It's this button that decides if your intelligence builds you an empire or if it completely tears you down. It's the reason Steve Jobs' genius couldn't stop him from making a terrible health choice. And it's why Jack Parsons' incredible brilliance went hand in hand with those destructive rituals. At the end of the day, your intelligence is a complete slave to this button. So, what is it? What is this hidden control? It's the core of your emotional wisdom, your self-awareness. Finding that button and learning how to use it, that is the real key to genius. And we'll dig into exactly how to find it in a future explainer. Thanks for watching.